I am so sorry. Welcome back to Advocation X, all you beautiful thinking people, you. And again, we're continuing on with international law because for some reason, kicked me off. I'm sorry, that was really strange. The video just stopped on its own. I have a terabyte SD card. It can take a whole lot of information. Anyways, okay, I'm back. Hit that like button. Subscribe, become a member, crush the bell. Now let's move forward. Those people up in their windows cheering, and if you don't understand what I'm talking about, you have to go back and watch part 1. Cheering for me to be arrested and cajoled and maybe harassed and maybe physically harmed. They don't know who I am. I'm just somebody looking for a room. Later, I find out once I do get away from these a-hole police officers and I get myself a room and I turn on the TV and I find out, oh, the downtown core is being, cleared of a protest. Okay, could you not have been a little more professional and not treated me like a total criminal as I walk up beside you? And you people up in your windows, what if you had come out and ran into them? They would have started on you too, but then you'd be like, but I'm just a citizen, I just live up here. And he'd be like, really? Show me your ID. Show me proof that you live up there. How do you feel now? Do you feel a little overwhelmed? Do you feel a little vulnerable maybe? Do you feel like maybe they shouldn't have been harassing that other guy that you were up in the window cheering for? Folks, you really always have to look back at yourself. Would you like to see yourself portrayed on the front page of a newspaper doing whatever it is you're doing? Cheering on the abuse of your fellow citizens? Cheering on the abuse of maybe vacationers coming to see the great capital of Canada? Go ahead, justify it. Put it in the comments. I want to know your justification for that, because in my heart, I can't justify that. If I saw somebody being arrested out of my window, I would be concerned for what may have happened. I'd be concerned for the person being arrested. I'd be concerned for the safety of the police officers. And when I found out what the whole scenario is, I would then be able to determine if something was justified or not. Plain and simple. All you have to do is remain objective and gather some information so that you can make an informed decision. Like anything else you do in your life, you're supposed to do your own research. Not be told what your research is. You're supposed to do your own research. Ask questions. Defy. Confront. Get answers to hard questions. If you're not asking any hard questions, you're just accepting things blindly. And what did they tell us as a kid? If you're ever lost or you need help, go find a policeman. Oh, you can't tell your kids to do that now. Who knows what might happen if they go up to a policeman now and ask him anything? The good thing is 9 out of 10 of them are probably good cops and are going to take care of things. But if you get 10 bad ones together, oh boy, you don't want to be there. I don't care if you're man, woman, child, or great grandparent or whatever. If you get 10 of those bad ones together, hopefully you find only one bad one amongst 9 other good ones. And those good ones will take control of the situation and stop that bad one from making it turn disastrous. So international law says this: any crimes against humanity must be tried in an international court of law, in which they have their own punishments and their own procedures. So what do we call crimes against humanity? Well, let me see. If a leader of a country discriminates against a certain segment of their own society, it is a crime against humanity. Do you remember, like, people were talking about that big country over there? Has all kinds of people, but yet a certain segment of that population has pretty well been decimated, has been held in internment camps, and rumor has it there have been experiments done on them, physical experiments done on these people. There have been those of them that have been extinguished from our world. Now again, these are rumors, but they come from some very reliable news sources when news sources used to be reliable. That is a sad state of affairs when the news media is no longer interested in the truth and only interested in portraying a scenario that furthers their paycheck. That's sad. When you have a woman crushed, walking with a walker, an old woman who's been calling for nothing but peace, love, and kindness the whole time, gets trampled by a horse, and then you get the news media swinging it to, oh, the police have said that somebody threw a bicycle in front of the horse trying to injure it. It wasn't the horse running over this woman with a walker. Meanwhile, all the overhead shots and everything you can find, if you look, will show you that the woman with her walker was down. And it was the horse that put her there, including another man in that same scenario, that same time frame, run over by these horses. I love horses. I will not blame the horses. These horses are blinded. They're blinded and they just follow orders. There are experts who have analyzed the actions of the officer on that horse, and it was clear every one of those officers has to go through a certain amount of training. In order to get the horse to do what it did, it takes certain actions, and those actions were performed by that officer. That's called attempted murder. The size of those horses, it is a wonder that those two people are not dead. And again, we don't know what injuries they sustained and whether or not the death comes later. Then it becomes murder. But that is a crime against humanity. Peaceful protesters are allowed under any constitutional rights, any Charter of Rights, any Bill of Rights or common law. Peaceful protest is allowed anytime, anywhere. There is no restrictions on peaceful protest. Remember, peaceful protest is the operative word. There are many protests that go on in our midst or history that have been quite violent and been allowed to continue. A peaceful protest gets knocked down by vicious force, and some in our society think that's okay. Well, here's what international law says to you. If you commit these crimes, if you facilitate these crimes, if you carry out these crimes, doing your job is no excuse. Not having the whole story is no excuse. If you report your neighbor because your neighbor's a trucker and somebody comes, grabs that neighbor of yours and down the road kills him, you're guilty of that crime. I bet you didn't know that, right? Because you didn't do your research. Unlike my beautiful thinking people who are always digging deep to find out what the truth is. So by international law, there are a lot of ex-Canadians who could and should be hauled away in chains. Should, and still could. We don't know when those determinations are going to be made, and when the international tribunal gets to hear the cases and decides we need to go in and start sorting this out and hauling away people who have been committing these crimes against their own citizens. Declaring a national emergency because people are peacefully protesting? Remember, that national emergency was called after the borders were opened up by normal, regular tools at the disposal of the police departments. Remember that. When it comes to the international law and courts, that's going to be a heavy piece of evidence against certain people. Certain people. Not all of us, because many of us did not condone what was going on. Many of us did not support the bad things that were going on. Hopefully, they don't do what a regular criminal court would do, and they don't start at the bottom and work their way up. I want them to start right at the top and work their way down. That way, everybody has an opportunity to sit around going, well, maybe they won't go this far. Oh, they just went another level down. Okay, that must be it. I mean, they obviously, they don't have enough time, energy, and resources to go any further than that. Oh my Lord, they went another level down. Okay, I hope they're not coming for us. Oh my God, they better not be coming for us. Oh my God, but we didn't do anything wrong. We were just... Nah, you did. You did. And if they come for you, you deserve it. Because unlike the other people who have suffered for being peaceful and decent, loving, caring human beings, for those who tried to support a good effort to protest peacefully and then have their bank accounts frozen and people throwing threats their way because they wanted to support good, loving people. I'm sorry, if you condone that, whatever you get in the future, that's yours. Enjoy it. Take it with you. Take it with you. I heard the venom and nastiness coming out of people's mouths against people protesting peacefully. Well, let me see. Who else has peacefully protested amongst individuals who hated the fact that they were protesting? Hated the fact that they were blocking streets and bridges, hated the fact that they were peaceful, loving, arm-in-arm people, walking miles and miles and miles. Oh, was that Martin Luther King Jr.? Oh, maybe. Did you hate him? Oh, maybe you did. Because it takes a certain kind of person to look at Martin Luther King Jr. and say, I hate that man. It takes a certain kind of person to watch him get his head bashed with batons and say, good for him. It takes a certain kind of person to watch fellow human beings suffer needlessly because they want change, positive change. They weren't marching to get all police killed. They weren't marching to get all their neighbors killed who didn't march with them. They weren't marching to kill everybody's pets. No, they were marching for freedom. They marched for freedom, yet still, people spewed venomous vitriol against Martin Luther King Jr. and those marches. Thank God, so many other people supported. Thank God, so many other people marched right alongside. Change was won. Positive change occurred through that horrible, horrible time fighting for civil rights. Civil rights. And some people wanted to deny them civil rights. Anyways, so folks, international law, it's coming. It's coming. Remember one of my earlier videos I said, you need to be on the right side of history. You're not too late. You can still do something about this. You can still speak up. You can still talk to your MPs and MPPs. You can still talk to your mayors and local politicians in every level and say this is unacceptable. People need to have the right to protest peacefully without being battered and beaten, threatened. Just taking their fuel away in a minus 20-degree night. Do you know that people could have died right there? And if you're one of those people that says, I don't care, wow, one day you're going to meet your maker. I think maybe you have a maker who will applaud you and shake your hand and give you a hug and say, you're my kind of people. Oh, I hope that one doesn't have horns. I'm just saying. I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just saying, I hope your guy doesn't have horns. My guy don't have horns. And I know when I go to see him, he's going to say, you know what, you've made some mistakes in your life, but I can see that you tried hard to do the right thing. You tried hard to be on the right side of history. So I'm going to give you some leniency. That's what I'm praying for, okay? That's what I'm working towards. Anyways, international law, folks, it's coming your way soon. And when it comes, it just might be coming for you. And not you. Not my beautiful, loving, thinking people. No, you. That's right, you. And if you think I'm lying, put it in the comments. Tell me. Tell me why you think you're going to survive the wrath of international law. Tell me. Do you not have anybody who's seen the stuff coming out of your mouth? Are you somebody who has just hid in the closet and said whatever you wanted to say in the closet, like you yelled into a pillow? And then out in public you were like, oh no, I don't want any harm to come to anybody. Well, then maybe you won't get international law. But if you have a maker, one day you'll be meeting them. Just saying. That was my rant on international law. I hope it comes swiftly, and I hope it comes efficiently, completely. Let's see what happens. Okay? But in the meantime, because we're beautiful thinking people, we never give up and we never give in, while always keeping an open mind so we can gather all the knowledge around us so we're able to make informed decisions. Knowledge is the only power you really have. Don't lose your power. So folks, stay safe, stay healthy, and beyond all, stay as happy as humanly possible.